Okay, so this is a response video to one of the comments that I got. It was about concurrent periodization. I haven't found any programs online, but I could help you make one right now. So it's an intermediate level one, and from your lifts it sounds like you're an intermediate weightlifter by your strength standards. Intermediate is going to be about 5 times your body weight in the total. So it would be like averaging a 300-pound squat, deadlift, and bench press if you were like 190 pounds. So somewhere around there. You don't have to hit those numbers exactly, but you want to be able to do about twice your body weight in the squat and the deadlift, and then 1.5 times your body weight in a bench. That's about intermediate level. And then, so to make your own program, the first 2 weeks you're going to test yourself. You're going to find out what your true 1 rep max is on the barbell back squat, the flat barbell bench press, and the barbell deadlift. So you'll barbell back squat, you'll max out one week, like say Friday, and then you want to max out again. Now when you max out, you want to find out what your true max is. So if you think your max is like 315 pounds, you still want to try 320, 325. You want to try more and more and more weight until you can't do any more weight. So find out what your true 1 rep max is on every lift. So you got to have a spotter there, maybe a safety cage, like a safety squat rack. So you find out what your true 1 rep max is, and you do it twice. So you take 2 weeks to do it, because one day you might have a bad day. So you max out on a Friday, and then you try it again on another Friday. Go with all the numbers that are your greatest total, even if they happen on separate days. Go with the greatest total number. That'll be your 1 rep max for the squat, bench, deadlift. Now using those numbers, you're then going to write your program for the first month. And it's a 3-month program. So your first month is going to be 3 days a week. Day 1 is going to be hypertrophy. Day 2 will be power, and day 3 will be strength. It's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the 4 weeks. Now on your hypertrophy days, the first week you're going to do 3 sets of 12 at 65% of your 1 rep max with a 1-minute rest in between sets. You're going to do squat, bench, deadlift, incline dumbbell shoulder presses, pull-ups, dips, barbell bent over rows, barbell curls, and barbell tricep extensions. That's all your exercises. You only calculate your percents on the squat, bench press, deadlift. You do 3 sets of 12. So to calculate your percents at 65%, you would just take the number of your max. Like if your squat max is 300, you do 300 times 0.65. It's point whatever your percent was. 0.65 equals your 1 rep max. That'd be your 65%. And you try to do 3 sets of 12 with that number. It should be really hard to do, but just doable, maybe. And you're better off hitting the numbers. You're better off hitting 3 sets of 12 than using a little bit too heavy of a weight and not getting 3 sets of 12. You want to hit 3 sets of 12 with 1 minute of rest in between. It's going to be hard to only rest 1 minute. You're going to time it and then do it again. You don't want to rest longer than a minute for your hypertrophy day on the first month. Now with all of the other exercises, all of the accessories like the incline dumbbell shoulder presses, the barbell bent over rows, pull-ups, dips, barbell curls, barbell tricep extensions, you're just going to use the heaviest weight and do 3 sets of 12. You don't calculate 1 rep maxes on those accessory exercises. So that's the first week, 65% hypertrophy. Week 2 is 70%, same workout. Week 3 is 75%, same workout. Week 4, you do not go to failure. You do your hypertrophy workout, but you don't go to failure. Don't make it too hard, because you'll be maxing out on Friday at the end of the week on week 4. Now with your power days, week 1 is 40%. You only squat, bench, deadlift. 5 sets of 5 at 40%. You want to lift up as fast as you can. That's how you're going to develop power. So when you're benching, it's going to be a relatively light weight. You bring a downward control pause, push back up as fast as you can, as hard as you can. 2 minutes of rest in between sets. Week 2 is 50% power. Week 3 is 60% power. Week 2, it's 5 sets of 4. Week 3, it's 5 sets of 3. Week 4, you just don't go too hard. You're preparing for your max out, your remax. Now on the strength days, day 3, week 1, 5 sets of 5 at 80%. 3 minutes of rest in between sets. You do squat, bench, deadlift, incline dumbbell shoulder presses. You don't do the barbell bent over rows. And you do the pull-ups, you do the dips, you do the barbell curls, you do the barbell extensions. It's all sets of 5 with the heaviest weight you could do, week 1. Week 2, 5 sets of 4 at 85%. Week 3, 5 sets of 3 at 90%. It's always 3 minutes of rest in between sets for strength. And so the workout might take, 1.5, 2 hours. It takes a long time because you're resting so much, but you have to do that in order to get as strong as possible. You'll get stronger on this workout. You'll get bigger too, and more powerful. You'll test your strength with a squat, bench press, deadlift, like powerlifting. You could test your power with a vertical jump, and you could test your power also with a sprint, like a 50-yard sprint or a 50-meter sprint. There's different ways you could test your power. And measuring muscle hypertrophy would be tricky because you're supposed to use ultrasound, but you might not have access to a lab. You could do tape measurements, but it's really not valid because you'll be measuring the circumference of your arm or your chest or your leg, and that's not really a measure of your muscle fibers. It's a measure of your entire body, So you could see an increase in size just by having an increase in fat on your body. So it's really not too accurate to use tape measure because true muscle thickness is only going to increase by like a millimeter after a month. You're not going to have an increase of like 1 inch on your arms. That's not going to be muscle fiber. You could have body increase an inch, but it's not going to be muscle fiber of an inch. But you could still do measurements anyways if you like. Photos might work. You can see your muscle is growing. From the outside, it's your body that's growing. So then at the end of that week, at the end of that month, you would retest your max. So you'd probably have gotten stronger. So now the second month, you're going to have new percents. You're going to have a new squat, bench, and deadlift max. So you're going to recalculate. So that's where the periodization comes in. And it's concurrent, just meaning more than one, which means hypertrophy, power, strength. You could do 2. Some people like to do just power and hypertrophy. They may call it power building instead of just bodybuilding. But I like to do all 3. The power helps you tremendously with your strength. And it's also like a good recovery day. So I would do hypertrophy, power, strength in that order. Hypertrophy is the hardest one. Power is the easy. And strength is not too hard, but it's really heavy. You get to rest a lot. So it's like powerlifting. So second month, same program. You just recalculate everything. On your hypertrophy days, you could rest 90 seconds. Everything else is the same. 2 minutes of rest on power, 3 minutes of rest on strength. And then on the third month, it's going to be special. You're going to do a post-activation potentiation week, which means you would lift heavy, rest 2 minutes, and then do power. So it's a combination of strength and power, same day, same time. So you might do a 80% strength lift, 5 reps, 80% 1 rep max. Rest 2 minutes, and then you would do another 5 reps using 40% of your 1 rep max. you have a post-activation potentiation. That just means after you lift a real heavy weight, your muscle fibers have an increase in their action potential. They're more likely to fire more muscle fibers. So then by lifting a lighter weight faster, you condition your neuromuscular system and you're activating your dormant muscle fibers. So it's a good strategy for building strength and power. And you would only do that for the squat, bench, deadlift. You wouldn't do it for pull-ups and stuff like that, or bicep curls. And then you'd also have 2 weeks of 5-day training. It's like an overreaching, total body. It doesn't have to be too hard. It's higher reps, like 12 to 15. You just hit everything. It's kind of like a typical gym rat workout or like a bodybuilding workout where you're just doing everything. 3 sets of 12 to 15, 5 days in a row, total body, every day. So it's like you're trying to overtrain, but it's not really overtraining. You'll do that 2 weeks in a row, and then that 4th week, your body's going to super compensate for the overreaching. It's going to try to increase all of its muscle glycogen. It's going to recover, adapt, and then you'll have your final max out. And then if you do it just right, you'll be stronger than ever. Some people break their 3rd month after the first 2 months of doing everything right. It gets really hard. So you'll just try to do everything you can. I wouldn't recommend doing anything else with that program. I wouldn't recommend doing cardio or any other weightlifting. You just do that 3 to 5 days for 12 weeks, and that's the best training program I've ever done. I saw an increase in hypertrophy, only like 1 millimeter, but that's a lot for real actual muscle fiber increase, measured by ultrasound. I saw an increase in power, vertical jump, sustained sprinting, and I saw an increase in my strength on the squat and the deadlift. My bench, I didn't get a new record, but part of that is because I wasn't benching all that much before I started the program, and when I used to be able to bench the most, I was just hardcore benching. It was like all I did was bench. So, but I did have an increase in my deadlift and my squat. So it's a really good program, and I hope you enjoy it. Try the program out, write everything out, and if I could help you in any other way, just write another comment, and I'll try to answer it. All right? Thanks.